So let's talk about what you do. You don't fit into a box. I
Not
can't just
very
call you a
much.
stylist. I mean,
No.
you do so much.
I do a lot of different things. I style, I produce, I'm a licensing consultant and a branding consultant and a mom.
Yeah.
I do a lot of things.
You have all the hats.
I do.
So let's talk about, I guess, start from the beginning, right? Because there was a point where you were raised here and you said, I'm going to leave Nashville and I'm going to go to the big city. So let's talk about that whole, turn of events for you.
Trajectory. Yeah, no, I grew up here in Nashville. I went to university school and graduated from University School of Nashville and went to business school. Did the smart thing right after school and got my business degree. And almost immediately upon graduating said, I don't want to do this. And moved to New York City, got my associate's degree in fashion design from Parsons School of Design, and fell into a 10-year career in New York City in fashion design that kind of veered towards celebrity endorsements, which was really exciting.
Yeah, and how does that even happen?
Right place, right time. I was the first person hired for the Jennifer Lopez for Kohl's brand. So that involved us going back and forth from New York to Los Angeles, meeting with Jennifer and her team, making sure that her vision was being realized from our New York design office. And then that opportunity led me to then do Nicki Minaj for Kmart and Adam Levine for Sears.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Was there ever a point in the process working with those three huge celebrities where you pinch yourself and you go, this is my life?
Absolutely. I think on the airplane going over there the first time, it was like, my heart felt like, what is going on? And then like any other job, you get used to it, but it was amazing. And then a lot of times I would go back to New York and then fly to Asia because we were meeting with our vendor partners in Asia. So there was a lot of flying.
So when you were going and meeting with these different celebrities, you were actually in their closet.
In their home, I got to see Jennifer's Gucci dress, the really famous one that goes down like this, and got to meet Adam Levine's then fiance, now wife. Got to be in Nicki Minaj's amazing closet because we were really there pulling for inspiration for the line. We wanted to look at prints and colors and jewelry and accessories and what is this person's style and how do we encompass it for mass market consumption.
So you weren't designing the line, you were dealing directly with the celebrity to make sure you were going in the right direction.
Exactly.
Like, here's our lane, we're going to stay in this lane.
Exactly.
That's so
and
amazing.
making sure that the artist was satisfied with the direction of the line. And that's so exciting about what I'm doing now because we're bringing those services to Nashville-based artists.
Yeah. Let's hop to that because since we're talking about that,
Yeah.
you stopped doing that for several years in Hong Kong, which we'll get to that in a bit.
Right.
But you have since moved back to Nashville.
Yep.
And all of a sudden you're getting the band back together and you're going to be doing the same thing just here?
That's right.
That's amazing.
So I've made connections with my amazing team in New York who has all of the manufacturing connections, distribution, licensing, and we are currently reaching out to Nashville-based artists who we think have the right parameters of engagement to find opportunities for them because so many times executives in New York and Los Angeles only look at New York and Los Angeles, right? There's an opportunity for places like Nashville who resonate so strongly with the rest of Middle America to say, let's do projects with these artists. These artists are authentic. They're credible, incredible, aspirational. These people lead lives that we want to do. So I think there's a lot of really fun projects coming our way.
I think that's so exciting. And you're right. I mean, sometimes you look at celebrities who live in New York or celebrities who live in LA and that's not my life.
I can't relate to that.
Yeah. And even you.
Right.
Even you can't relate.
And I
You're here in
lived there,
Nashville.
right? But here in Nashville, we have a community of artists and entertainers that so strongly connect with other Americans and putting branding that resonates with them in a way that is very authentic is important. We're not trying to do anything that feels forced, but really giving them the opportunity to engage with their audience in a new way is what we're doing, and it's really exciting.
Yeah. So it could be clothes
Yep.
or what?
Clothing, home goods, liquor brands, anything with a consumer engagement aspect. I have reconnected with my team in New York who has those connections and those business facilitations.
Well, and I kind of, outside looking in, I look at some of the things that get put out with different celebrity names, and sometimes I wonder, is this really what this person would wear? Or is this really what this person, loves? And what's your answer to that? I mean, because you have a very specific focus when you're working with people.
Exactly, and I think what you're talking about is important, because making sure the partnership selection feels credible and authentic, to make sure that the audience can really engage with it in that way. I wouldn't put myself in a situation here in my hometown of Nashville partnering with a company where I felt like it was just a grab, Nashville is still my hometown. It has my community of family in it. It has my community of friends and business partners, and it's very small. So I really wouldn't engage with something like this unless I absolutely trusted the business partnerships on the other end of the line. And I think that's a really unique opportunity for me as a native Nashvilleian here to say, let me help make those connections to people who can really take it to the next level, but do it in a way that feels like Nashville. It's relationship-based,
Totally.
It's trust-based. It's not big city kind of stuff here. It's me sitting in your living room saying, let's think about how to do this and make it really fun.
Yeah. Have them trust you. You
Absolutely.
Make sure that they're going in the right direction.
It all comes down to trust.
Did you ever think you'd come back here?
Probably. I think in the back of my mind, I always wanted to come home. But it was a long journey to get here, that is for sure.
Yeah, it took you on the other side of the world.
Yeah, about 8,600 miles away or so for about 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so New York for many years, and then you moved to Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And it was a move because of your husband, right?
Correct.
And you said, okay, maybe I can make my profession work here too.
I thought I was leaving the fashion industry behind forever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We spent 10 years in the New York design industry, and it was amazing. Got to work with all these amazing artists, got to work with Tommy Hilfiger, Trump Tower, Fifth Avenue, and I was like, then when we moved to Hong Kong, I said, okay. We moved to Hong Kong while I was 4 months pregnant with my first baby.
How old were you at that point?
31.
Wow.
Yep. So I thought that I was completely done with the fashion industry forever. I had my first child and then kind of fell back into it a little bit.
That's amazing. And you were dealing with luxury brands, right? Photography
Yes.
a lot, magazines.
So whereas my New York experience was very design-based, when I moved to Asia, all of the design opportunities which were much more manufacturing-based factories. And I said, I worked with artists and entertainers.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in this part. And completely by coincidence fell into luxury brand styling, because luxury brands are such a big deal in Asia. Got to work with incredible companies like Van Cleef & Arpels and Panerai watches, and flying to Paris and shooting regional ad campaigns, and coming back to Hong Kong and going out on a yacht in the middle of the ocean, and
whose life is this?
Photographers and jewelry, and it was so fun.
Yeah. And talk about that moment that you guys realized, we're going to go back to Nashville, because your husband is from here too.
He is. My husband is from here too. So while we were in Hong Kong, we had a second baby, a little girl. So both of my children were born in Hong Kong, and they started to get to be about school age, and we were flying home, putting them through incredible jet lag and travel, and both sets of grandparents are in Nashville too. So as they were getting to be school aged, we started looking at kind of the situation in entirety and saying, what are we going to do here, So we came to Nashville for a visit, and strangely enough, while we were here with our 2 children, we said, yes, this is the direction that we want to go. We never went back to Hong Kong.
What did you do with your stuff?
We came with 2 weeks worth of objects and things, and we said, either we can take our kids back to Hong Kong, pay for the flights, or we can just pay somebody to go into our apartment and pack our things up and put it on a boat. So the things that we had for those first 2 weeks was what we ended up living with for about 4 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But you know what? Don't we all end up wearing like the same 5 shirts over and over again? So it doesn't
Absolutely.
even,
And
it's
the
no big
next
deal.
time we went on a trip, I said, be careful what you pack because you might need it. You never know what we're going to do. We just might move continents.
Well, and for anybody who thinks, why didn't you go all the way back? How long is that flight?
It is a 16-hour flight from Dallas. So you fly from Nashville to Dallas, Dallas to Hong Kong. So it's about 30 hours in total. And my children have been known not to sleep at all through some of those flights sometimes. So it is majorly intense. And there's a 12-hour time difference. So when it's 8 o'clock in the morning here, it's 8 o'clock in the night there. So poor little kids, their whole system gets messed up.
So talk about your life as mom. I mean, because here you're around all of these glitzy, beautiful dresses, all the sequin, but your life as mom, as any mom can attest, is not glitz and glamour.
No, it's jelly stains on couches and cleaning up yogurt and making sure that we adhere to bedtime routines and reading stories and going to parks and making sure that my kids feel loved and making sure that they know that I'm there for them. The transition from Hong Kong to Nashville kind of put all of us in a situation where it was so different. But the only consistent thing in that whole situation was mom and dad, So we really came together to make sure that we are there for the kids. We're doing school drop-offs and pickups and afternoon activities and play dates, and all of this stuff gets fit in between.
Yeah.
That's the important thing. This is secondary.
Yeah. What are their ages?
Bowen is 2 and Pierce is 5.
You have young children.
Little ones.
Is Pierce in kindergarten yet?
He is.
Oh my.
Oh yeah, he started August 13th, so we've been in there for 2 weeks. We were at back to school night last night. Yep, very much.
That's amazing. Well, and I would imagine that this career somehow allows you to do all of it.
That's why I love this career so much. So when I left Nashville and told people that I was moving to New York to join the fashion industry, people acted like I was moving to Hollywood to become an actress. It was like, good luck with that. That's not a real thing, right? We'll see you in a year. And what I actually ended up finding was the fashion industry is so ubiquitous that there are opportunities for every level of engagement. You can climb the corporate ladder like I did and fly all over the world and do amazing things on a mass market scale, or you can do everything in between down to tiny niche cottage industries where it's one person and a sewing machine or one person and a styling business. Or I think for women, sometimes it can be a double-edged sword. There are some issues in the fashion industry with garment producing worldwide that I think need to have some attention spent on them. But at the same time, it has lifted millions of women out of poverty. And it's not perfect, but I really have so many good things to say about the fashion industry in relationship to women having jobs.
Well, and it's interesting because I feel like there's so many big name men designers in fashion, but is that industry really controlled by women, do you think?
That's an interesting question. A little bit yes and a little bit no. If you want the truth, a lot of times men tend to rise to positions of power. In the fashion industry, you'll see male design directors, male presidents of design, and then female staff. However, you never know. With the right level of drive, the right level of ambition, and stick-to-itiveness, it's these women that are breaking these glass barriers, even in a situation in an industry that is dominated by women, right? So we still see the opportunities to go out and engage and move the narrative forward.
So let's talk about what you've been doing here in Nashville since you moved home. When was it that you moved back?
January 2018.
Okay. So in that last almost 2 years, what's it been like?
I won't lie, the initial culture shock was really surprising. Who moves home to their hometown and has a culture shock, right? But I left Nashville when I was 18, and then I lived away for 18 years. So it was like bookends coming back. And I thought, I know Nashville. This is fine. Everything, but it was a totally different city. It was the new Nashville. And so I went out to all the magazines right away, and I said, hey, I'm Lacey. I've been styling for the last 5 years in Hong Kong. I produce photo shoots, what kind of opportunities. And
Did they say you're overqualified? Yeah, yeah, you're super overqualified.
but in general, the response has been amazing. It has been really great. I've been doing some really fun editorials. I've been able to do some commercial projects, but it's the teams of people here that I meet that have really solidified my perspective that this is a really wonderful choice, because the photographers that I'm working with, the hairstylists, the location professionals, even the clients, are on a totally different level from a wonderful person perspective than I would have ever run into in these bigger cities. Yeah.
Don't you feel like everybody in this town is like 1 degree of separation?
Yes. You have to be so careful about what you say, who you talk to, making sure you always look nice. You never go out of the house not looking nice.
That's a Southern thing.
Yes. And so more than once, I run into people who say, I know your mama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that fun? Well, and now your kids get to grow up with their grandparents.
Both sets of grandparents, they live less than 6 miles away from each other.
No way.
Yeah.
Well,
we
in
are
Nashville, that could be a 30-minute drive.
Yes, that's true. But we have both sets of grandparents, and they are just over the moon about our children being back in their hometown.
They probably thought they wouldn't get that opportunity.
Well, especially when you consider we came here by surprise. We came for a visit and then we never left. They weren't sure whether or not to believe it. So it's been really great.
What else do you think is worth pointing out about, I mean, your career, your trajectory, your future? I mean, anything that we haven't talked about that you feel like is really important?
Well, I think that as Nashville continues to grow and diversify its own industries, we have a community right here in Nashville of independent fashion designers. And here we are today at Jonathan Kane Studios, and he is an incredible example of what I'm talking about. He owns his own brand, he distributes his own brand, he oversees the manufacturing of his own brand. He is one of many people in Nashville who are doing the exact same thing at different levels of scale. And I'm really excited to see where this city decides to go with this level of creative energy. We obviously have Nashville Fashion Week, but there are so many design professionals flooding in from other parts of America, and I keep running into very qualified fashion design professionals, sometimes at my own school at Belmont University where I'm teaching. And there's this community of underground fashion industry professionals. I just can't wait to see what comes from it.